should.
I'm just gonna record it all and then I'll cut it later.
All right.
Because this part's probably too good.
Oh,
Listen,
Whoa, yeah.
we are here, okay? Ready for the winter solstice, getting ready to grind down. You already know.
We are here.
We are here. We are here. So yeah, we're here to talk about winter solstice and give y'all a little preview. So, winter solstice. What is it all about?
connection, for sure.
I see rest.
I love that. I see reflection. And that's also what I want to bring in with the moon. It's the idea of we refract the light into other parts of ourselves. We see different shadows, different lights. So, yeah.
I think of grounding. I think of being able to come back to our center stage and making plans for how we are deciding to move forward, but knowing the direction that we're going and having so much faith that we're going to get there.
Yes. Yes.
I think of rumination, meditation, and balance when it comes to the winter solstice, because we reflect on everything that we've gone through and how we're looking to move forward into the next year.
Something I really got out of the summer solstice that we did was this beautiful sense of community. Even though it was virtual, it was like we just created this amazing community of individuals that came together not only to connect deeper with themselves, but to connect to each other and build new relationships and friendships. And I am really looking forward to that with the winter solstice as well.
I was like high on that energy, like way beyond the end of that day. So that was really beautiful. And I think with what all of y'all said, like I'm feeling a lot of nurturing for this solstice. Like I feel like we've all been like going all year and not necessarily realizing the shitstorm that this year has been, because we have to keep going. And so that rest, that reflection, like all of that, like taking time to just acknowledge that and then like nurture ourselves and each other for what's to come. So a lot of big energy there.
This is very much a turning inward, right? Oh, we both did that. Can't be seen. We both. I love it. Yeah, and I really like the idea of refracted light and looking, like using the power of that to look at our shadow self and the part of ourself that we kind of put on the back burner when we're having to show up every day in our daily lives and like keep pushing forward.
And we can do this with accountability, and it doesn't need to be drastic. It can be like super warm, like between all of us, like a nurturing embracing of the shadow while being real, right? But it doesn't have to be this like frozen, like, you gotta see this. Did you see the shadows, Adam? Yeah.
I think of it as embracing our divinity. Like the shadow side is our divine side if we allow it to be. And how do we notice that within each other in order for us to be able to step forward in that power and know that we are always being divinely guided, but sometimes we need the right people around us in order to be reminded of that. And this is an opportunity for us to gather and really be able to work those kinks out so that way we can move forward in the light, in our likeness.
Happy scene. And Gary, that was beautiful. I freaking love the idea of embracing your shadows and embracing your darkness to move towards the light and allowing your own refracted light to come back and heal that darkness. You guys are gonna like make me cry because that was just really beautiful.
I think I was having this conversation with some other folks today that especially kind of, we all play in, similar playgrounds, right? With the work that we do. And there's this thing in the spiritual community that, it's always so focused on love and light. And, we're always, giving, on social media, giving everyone our highlight reels, but that's not what it's all about. Like that's only part of it. And I think, taking time to kind of lean into that other side, like we don't have one without the other.
Yeah, no spiritual bypassing around here. We're not doing that. We got to embrace it all and really have compassion for that side that we're kind of conditioned to ignore or fix, you know? And it's not about fixing, it's about embracing it and learning how to look at it with the same compassion that we look at all of our positive vibes, attitude stuff.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, if you think about the winter solstice as well, it's so symbolic in the sense that it's the longest night of the year. And if we think, you know, we take night into consideration and see that as our shadow selves, you know, it's the acknowledgement of the shadow self. It's recognizing that actually this is a catalyst for change, just like the winter solstice itself is, that enables us to introduce positive change into our lives.
Yeah, big change. And I think there's been so many big changes this year, but also another piece of that is like the accountability, right? Like sometimes that can be scary when we're doing it on our own, or when we don't have, it's hard to do shit for ourselves, right? Like this is the one thing that I keep coming up against, is that it's hard sometimes for people to show up for themselves. And so when you have like that support and that community, like just rallying around you, like how often do you get to be in, like, I mean, it's a Zoom room, it's still a space, but like a room just filled with people that are there to support each other. That's pretty special. So
Creating a community and having that thing where you can share your reality with a community rewires your system, where you've not been accepted for who you are within a community, and there you can share. That's what we did. A lot of us shared and we listened and we didn't judge. And like that moment where you feel accepted by a group is nothing you can pay for. It's just like that extreme change where you're like, oh God, I'm in my space. So I hope that we can carry that for you again, and that we also experience this as well.
So true. I mean, think of this retreat and the retreats that we had before as like your inner child being completely validated, completely affirmed. You know, all of you and your expression, it's here to be celebrated. You know, and that's what the retreat holds at its core. So I think we as practitioners are so excited to, you know, provide that again, but to also experience it again with so many people. And it's a really, really exciting time.
super exciting. Okay, so speaking of time, because there's another thing happening right around the winter solstice, Isaiah, since you bring up the moment of time, which is the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, right? Which I know is a focus of what you'll be bringing to the session. So can you and I know that's big, and I know that we're going to go through all of that on that day, but can you give us the synopsis of what that is, or why we're paying attention to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, firstly, thanks for putting me on the spot. But yeah, so the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, like we experience Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions every 20 years. They're great events that happen. Usually something significant happens around that. But for the past 400 years, Saturn and Jupiter have not met in an air sign. And this is hugely significant because what's happening on the winter solstice is they're not only meeting at an air sign, they're meeting in Aquarius, which is Saturn's domicile, and they're meeting at 0 degrees. So it's almost like this huge potent energy that's just happening, and we're entering this new epoch, this new age. And it's funny because my session is literally just called Entering the Epoch. And I think, you know, what my session will detail is what these great chronic creators are, you know, implementing into our lives collectively, how they're affecting us, what this, you know, the precedent it sets up now for our society, politically, socially, all, you know, arrays and aspects of life. So it's a really, really exciting time, but there's so much detail to cover, and that's why you need to come to this session. So I can cover that for you and I can tell you all about it. But as well as just explaining collectively, you know, you're not just here for a lecture. I would love if everybody who joined had their birth chart to hand, because what I didn't do in the summer solstice was connect transits personally to your chart, and that's something I'll be doing this time as a kind of exclusive for this retreat. So I'll be explaining, you know, how the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction is affecting your personal placements, what houses they'll be taking effect for you, so you can look forward to that. So bring your birth charts, and if you don't bring your charts, just bring your time of birth, location, and date, and we'll do the rest for you. And bring a notepad and pen, because there's a lot to be covered.
Yeah, there's a lot of notes in your session.
Yeah,
because there's so much good information.
There is so much. Yeah. Last time I went over into Gary's session by accident.
Time is loose. So yeah, it's a concept. So that's super cool. Thank you, Isaiah. Does anybody else want to share a little bit about what you're bringing to our Winter Soul Retreat?
I'll go next. So I'm really excited to lead the yoga and breathwork sessions of this retreat. We're going to be really focusing on nurturing, restoring, and rest in terms of the yoga. So it's that in the summer solstice, we did something that was a little bit more uplifting, a little bit more movement.
A little bit more ass kicking.
Yeah, a little bit more ass kicking. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like my middle name as a yoga teacher. But this time it's going to be so chill. You're probably going to be seated or laying down for all of the poses, and it's just going to be about getting into those nooks and crannies of your body that maybe have tightened up over time, to release not only, you know, your muscles and your fascia in your body, but also your mind and any stored traumas that you have accumulated over the last year or years. So on that note, I recommend bringing a blanket. Any blanket that you can fold up is great, and maybe a pillow, and some tissues, because sometimes when we start to do those more emotional release postures, the tears will start to flow, and that's okay. That's expected. That's normal. This has been a really tumultuous year for a lot of people. Getting hit with a global pandemic and just having our worlds kind of turned upside down can cause a lot of built up stress within the body. And my goal in this is to help everybody start to release some of that and let it go, so that we can move forward into 2021 with just a new sense of where we are, who we are, what we're going to do, what our goals are going to do. And just as a little side thing, I am going to be doing a playlist, and we're going to include the playlist link in the prep guide, so you can play that alongside if you'd like. And then I love this collection by doTERRA. It's their yoga collection, and I love using essential oils. I don't know about y'all, but I'm kind of obsessed with them, if you can't tell. So, but I actually love this set because it comes with 3 of them. Let's see if I can get it centered. There we go. And they are called Anchor, Align, and Arise. And individually, they all are lovely, but then you can also pair them together. And I've paired every single pairing you can possibly make with this, and it's amazing. So if you have a favorite essential oil, or maybe one that's more like grounding and relaxing to you, I would recommend bringing that to the yoga and breathwork session too, because we are going to start with a grounding exercise using essential oils if you have them. If you don't have them, no worries. But I'm just really excited to be able to help everybody nurture themselves a little bit in a couple weeks.
I love that. Thank you. And I think tissues are maybe a good idea. I am not a watery person, y'all, but I got a little teary on most of the sessions in the solstice last time, which was nice because we need those releases, right? So yeah, I think I definitely had moments in pretty much all of them. So that's a good heads up too. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, I can jump in. Speaking of release, so I would like to offer rituals and practical tools in my session I'm going to be facilitating that you can use in your daily life to create space, practice pauses, and open up to the space that it does take to really settle in and let those emotions that we store in our body come to the surface and be released. And so I'll be sharing some really practical tools, a couple of cool little concepts. I'm going to say we've all shared about God boxes, and we're going to be talking a lot about God boxes, and yeah, just creating and learning how to create space to connect to that intuitive voice, or that God voice that we all have, that divinity that's inside of us.
Yes, I love a ritual. And if anyone, like, the God box has been, like we were saying before this started, super relevant in my life, even though I do not like the term God. There's definitely, I don't know if anyone else has a God wound, but that's okay. Bring that with you. We're going to work through that too. So we've
Yeah,
got that.
I was gonna say because I got that right on time. So lovely enough. I love the flow of this conversation because it's so natural. And what Michelle has shared is a perfect segue into what I will be doing. So this will be a little bit Reiki, a little bit seminar, a little bit healing, a little bit like practical tools for you to refurbish that relationship that you have with God. What does that mean? So this title, or the title of this session, will be God, but it's standing for grounding our divinity. How are we grounding ourselves in our divinity, grounding ourselves in the light, grounding ourselves in that voice that we know is God, but in our own respect? And how do we allow those wounds to be real, but look at the relationship that we have with that inner voice, that higher self that grounds us, that guides us, that directs us on the path that we need in order to get to our highest good. As we continue to open our roads in the year 2021, we have to remind ourselves that we always have the opportunity to see things through and really achieve what it is that we want. As long as we keep ourselves faithful, as long as we keep ourselves grounded, know that the tools that we have already around us in our hands, our physical bodies, really tapping into ourselves and knowing how to do that is super important for listening to that inner well of knowledge that helps us to make the decisions that we need to as we step into this new year. So we are shedding those wounds with this conversation, and building ourselves back up with the tools that we need in order to transition into the most divine version of ourselves that we've been looking for ourselves to become for years. So how are you tapping into your higher self? I want you to bring an open mind, an open heart. I want you to also bring some crystals that'll probably resonate with you, and also bring your hands ready to move, because we're going to be doing a little bit of movement. If you were with me this summer, you know that I was up and moving, giving you a little sweat, but I'm going to teach you how to do something in a seated motion and use your hands as the tools that help to move that energy around and maneuver some of those beliefs, some of those blockages that have been existing in your life, and calling that divinity in once again. So I'm really excited.
I'm so excited to attend all of your sessions. I'll be at the end, and I'll be offering, last time I offered an energy technique where we worked with the sun. And the sun is all about how we shine, how we radiate, and to others as well. It was about vitalizing yourself. This time we do it with the moon. The moon will be in Pisces. It will be just a few days after the new moon. So it's really about you with yourself, not with others. Like, how do you receive this light that is refracted? What shows up? How can you love yourself? How can you see all the things without judgment? So we're going to work with that connection. My session is called Fly Me to the Moon. I would love for you to bring a mirror, because we look amazing in those selfies with those filters, but we also look amazing in those mirrors. So if you have a mirror nearby, and your eyes, and like in your heart, like, we're gonna see it all, like we mentioned, the shadows, without judgment. And we can also share that with others, and we're not going to judge you. So that's that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm excited about all of these sessions, and I don't necessarily have a session per se. I'll be doing the welcome, and I'm kind of the glue that will be weaving, ducking and diving in between the sessions, and I will host some community time as well. So I think that was really, really beautiful on our last retreat. If this is an inclusive space, so we want to give everyone a chance to be seen and be heard, and to, ask for the support that they need, or just share what's on their mind. This is not a you sit in front of your screen for 6 hours kind of day. This is an interactive day, and we want to hear from you as well. So to whatever level that you are comfortable at. So there's definitely opportunity for you to share there. And I also wanted to mention, because we forgot, Michelle has amazing Yule ritual kits on her website right now. So you'll get a link to that also when you get your ticket, so that if you want to hop on that, that is another amazing way to do something tangible to get into the spirit.
Thank you, Erica. That's very much God box vibes, and it's specific to the winter solstice and Yule. And also a VIP ticket will get you a 1-card tarot pool from me as well. And I hope that is it adds to the guidance and support that and information that you'll receive through this retreat as well.
Yeah, VIP tickets. There's so many benefits to those. Not, on top of Michelle's one card pull, for myself, you also have an opportunity to win a free reading. So, you know, we'll be looking at your natal chart or whichever one of the services that I offer. You'll have a chance to win one of those and get benefits into the readings themselves. So, exciting thing if you're looking for a VIP ticket, looking to buy one.
There's some exciting stuff in there. And actually part of the VIP ticket also is we're going to do a 1-month follow-up on January 24th, I believe. Just a short 90-minute, just another space to reconnect, right? Like we don't want to leave you high and dry after this big, amazing day. So you can join us there. That comes with the VIP ticket, and Capucine will be doing another special little healing as well there. And I'll be hosting some community. We'll see what else comes up. We are a group that is very divinely led. So I think there's still lots of time for things to unfold. But yeah, do we have anything else we need to tell the people out there in internet land?
Early bird tickets. Early bird tickets are available until December 6th. So be sure to jump on that because December 6th is coming up pretty soon.
I don't even know if this video will be out by then, but we'll see.
We can just cut that part out.
We did have early bird tickets, and so if you follow us, you probably knew about this, but it might be too late now. But I do know that everyone is going to, I think everyone's giving away a ticket on their own platforms, right? So there's opportunity there. All right, what else? I think that's it. Is that it?
Yeah, I just want to add, as much as everyone who'll be joining will be listening to us, like we'll be listening to you, and I just love how interactive the experience is, and how we do this as a community, you know, and just that Erica put into this together is such an amazing thing to experience and to be a part of. So if you were interested before, I hope this allowed you to, you know, get even more enticed into joining us.
And it's like such a great sampling of everybody, right? It's like the price of what probably an hour with any one of y'all would be, but instead you get a whole day with all of us. So it'll be pretty special. All right. Thank you, friends. We'll see you at Winter Soul.